Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Monday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Super duper, and yourself?
Really good. I haven't seen you all weekend. Wait a minute. No, that's all I've done is see you all weekend.
I was going to say.
It is good to see you, though, whether it's the weekend or the weekday. Hey, who lies better, men or women? Who do you think?
I think it depends on the man or the woman.
If you were going to just say blanket statement, men are better liars or women are better liars.
I would never say such a thing.
Okay, but I'm asking
ridiculous.
you to. Just say men or women. Just, come on, humor me.
Women.
All right. New York Post reported that author Susan Shapiro Barrage interviewed 500 women for her book, Little White Lies, Deep Dark Secrets, The Truth About Why Women Lie. Her conclusion, women are better liars than men. They lie about everything from shopping binges to bar hopping to facelifts to other things. A lot of things. Says women lie to get what they want. That's why they lie. It works. So there you go. I think we'll move on. I have some fun things that I want to say, but I don't think it's going to go down the right road. So thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Stephen Griesbach and Paul Simon take energy independence seriously. They make their own biodiesel gasoline, but their homebrew fuel has gotten them in a little bit of hot water in Wisconsin.
Paul Simon, like the singer?
I don't know. Wisconsin is where he lives, this guy. I don't think that's probably him, but they got in some hot water with Wisconsin tax officials. The State Department of Revenue was informing them that the two need to pay fuel tax on anything they pour into their gas tank. That could range from 2 cents to 31 cents a gallon on their homemade fuel.
Why would they have to do that?
They're saying, hey, you can make all the fuel you want, but we still get our taxes, so whoop up whatever kind of fuel you want to make.
Lord.
But we still want to get paid. So, because the fuel tax helps pay for the roads and all of that stuff. So that's why they're saying, yeah, good fuel, bad fuel, either way, you're paying us. So that one small step for fuel economy, one giant leap for bureaucratic tax people that want money. There you go. Thanks for joining us I'm glad that you did. I thought you were going to chime in here.
I am not going to say a word.
That looks really sore, that biting of the tongue that you have there. All right. Thanks for listening. We got a fishy story coming up in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVWheelator.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVWheelator.com.
Something a little fishy about this story, Heidi.
Alrighty.
Firefighters are blaming a goldfish bowl for sending 26 people to the hospital.
What?
Yeah. 26 people, including 18 firefighters, were taken to the hospital, all because one little goldfish bowl. The bowl was located in a garden shed filled with rat poison and other potentially noxious chemicals. Theory is that the full goldfish bowl acted kind of like a magnifying glass, magnifying the sun's rays as they came into the shed and focusing them on a dangerous chemical. Firefighters tried to dampen the noxious fumes, and in the process, 18 firefighters were taken to the hospital with symptoms of vomiting and nausea and chest burning sensations. 4 paramedics and 4 neighbors were also hospitalized, all because of one tiny little fish bowl sitting in a garden shed.
Why would somebody have a fish bowl filled with all that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I could see if you have a fish bowl that you're not using and it's sitting in the shed, and maybe the box was wet or something.
Might as well fill it with poison.
But I'm saying if you had like rat poison, I don't know what kind of poison it is, but if you had that and it was in a box that got wet, I could see saying, oh, hey, here's a container, and just dumping it in there, never even thinking twice that something like this could happen. So it's really a sad story. 26 people had to go to the hospital over this, which is crazy. But that's what happens. It reminds me of, I know I didn't see the whole movie. I started watching it and fell asleep. But the...
Imagine that.
Which
that
movie?
That never happens.
Which movie was this? Every movie.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was the unfortunate events of Lemony Snicket's.
Oh, yeah, I didn't really
series
watch that
of unfortunate.
either.
But when I was watching that movie with our kiddos, this is a couple years back when they were into that kind of thing. We were watching that, and there was a thing where they used a magnifying glass to start a house on fire. If I remember correctly. Or maybe I fell asleep already and dreamt that part.
I don't remember that.
I don't know. I shouldn't be giving out plots to movies. People are like, are you talking about Beetlejuice? No. I don't think so. I don't know what it was.
Just combined like 4 movies there.
And then they went back in time in this DeLorean. It was amazing. It's called Toy Story. You're going to love it. All right. No, none of that's right. But, the fishy story is true. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. A police officer escaped injury from a man whose brain was definitely on drugs behind the wheel. Officer Tim Parcho, first day on the force, was a smash. At least it was for his car. The Hobart, Indiana rookie cop was 29 minutes into his duties as a police officer.
All right.
Half hour in on his day, and his car was totaled. That's not a good way to start.
That is not a good way to start the job.
Police official report says a driver who tested positive for drugs smashed into his parked patrol car.
Oh, he was parked
Yeah.
even. That's
awesome. He was not in it at the time, thank goodness. But the force of the crash bent the rear axle. The department officials say that he spent most of the rest of his first morning filling out paperwork. So at lunchtime, they're like, Officer Parcho, how you liking the job so far? Like, man, this is awful. So that would be bad.
Guy.
It's just a fortunate thing that he was not in the car at the time. He was in a donut shop. I'm just kidding. He wasn't really.
Right.
I'm just teasing. And I'm a big fan of police officers.
My cousin hit a police officer.
I remember hearing this story.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not good.
She was devastated.
But she wasn't on drugs or alcohol at the time like this guy. So.
No, but it was almost a little worse because it was somebody she used to date and they didn't get along anymore. And then she smashes into him. It looked really bad. It looked like she did it on purpose. It was awful.
And you know it's true because you heard it. Wait, no, that was a different story. This was your brain on drugs.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
I honestly think this could have probably been a part of our This Is Your Brain on Drugs segment, but it's not. It's part of the moment of duh. A man reports a UFO and ends up in his moment of duh. Now, for those of you who believe in UFOs, there's nothing about that makes you automatically end in the moment of duh. I believe in that. You don't, do you?
I really don't. I mean, it's not that I don't believe there's other life. I just don't think they've been coming here and probing us and sticking things up our bums. And I just really don't think that's what they would do.
You turned British in the middle of that sentence.
I don't think that's what they would do with their technology. Well, I'm just saying.
You never know. A North Wales man called the police to report a bright stationary object hovering in the sky. It's been there for over a half hour. The patrol was urgently dispatched to his home. Police report that when they got there, they discovered that what he was looking at was the moon.
Oh, my goodness.
Here's the funny thing. That man has the right to vote. Look at that thing in the sky. They're like, sir, that's the moon. He's like, it is?
Wow.
I never noticed that before.
That's not even so much funny as it is really sad and kind of scary all at the same time.
I thought it was the Death Star from Star Wars. All right. Thank you so much for listening. We've got your scoop of the day on the way, and we've got a guest later in the program. KeithCode, the motorcycle dude. We'll be chatting with him in a bit.
The scoop of the day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. Students in Singapore put a gene from a jellyfish into a plant so it glows when it needs water.
I think that is probably the coolest thing that I have ever heard.
I think it's just weird. So the plant is thirsty and it glows in the dark.
I would buy one of those.
You'd want one of those?
I would absolutely want one of those. You know what I would name it?
What would you name it?
Audrey 2.
From Little Shop of Horrors.
From Little Shop of Horrors.
Feed me, Heidi, feed me.
That's right.
All right. Utah's largest public university has created a special lane for people who like to text while they're walking up and down stairs.
That's a bad idea.
That's not a good
They're
plan.
going to get sued.
According to Time Magazine, a staircase at the Utah Valley University, they have a new student center building, and they have a texting lane that you can use while you're texting and walking up and down steps.
That is really stupid.
So by encouraging people to text while walking up and down steps, when somebody does fall down and get hurt, they would have a case, I think.
Yep, they're going to get sued.
I'm not an attorney. I just pretend to be one on the radio. I don't even really pretend that. Over here, a woman in Jasper, Georgia faces felony shoplifting charges when she stole a couple of pairs of underwear from Walmart. Guess how many a couple pairs would be?
How many?
131. That's a lot of britches right there, folks.
What on earth was she going to do with those, do you think? Sell them online?
Maybe she just really doesn't like to wear the same pair twice. You know, it's a long time between now and laundry day. So 131 pair. You'd be almost a half a year into this thing.
Huh.
All right. Walmart said that the purloined panties are worth $750. So,
purloin?
Yeah, I mean stolen. It's in the story. I Googled it to make sure that's what it meant. So
Are you sure you're pronouncing that right?
I think so. The perpetrator purloined the panties. All right. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the nuclear deal announced by world powers in Iran last week a mistake of historic proportions, and he vows to keep Iran from getting a nuclear weapon.
I can't possibly agree with him more. I mean, that is so completely accurate.
I would give you the opportunity to say what you think right now, but I'm pretty sure that would be a bad idea.
It would be a very bad idea.
How about we move over here? According to a study, nearly 6 in 10 adult workers experience a significant amount of drowsiness during business hours. I'm actually not drowsy right now. I'm wide awake. Had like 18 cups of coffee already, so I'm good to go. Do you get tired at work?
I do.
When do you get tired the most? For me, it's early afternoon.
It's like
this little slump.
From 5:30 a.m. until about 5 p.m.
Is that when it is? I've noticed this. Living to a very old age may be in the genes, as the saying goes. Recent study published in a journal of aging suggests that certain personality traits make up a major part of the mix of longevity genes. Researchers found that having a positive attitude, big smile, Heidi, ding, positive attitude and a good sense of humor could play a role in living longer and healthier.
I have a great sense of humor.
I do too. I'm going to live until I'm 198.
I don't always have a positive attitude.
Oh, yeah.
Depends on what's happening.
I'm only going to live till next Tuesday then. All right. A real psychological condition makes Instagram users feel like they're not attractive. That's why I got rid of Instagram.
I think I have an Instagram account, but I don't think I've ever really used it.
I used it. I was like, what is this all about? And I'm like, yeah, I don't get it.
No, it's silly.
There's a suspect that entered a Sovereign Bank branch in South Philadelphia on a Monday morning and told an employee that he had a gun and demanded cash, but he ran off before getting the money. About 2 hours later, the same man entered a Wachovia Bank branch, tried it again, and this time made off with an undisclosed amount of cash. So apparently the first one was just a trial run. Like, give me your money. And they're like, okay, we're getting it together. He's like, I'm out of here. And he took off. Then he came back.
He turned around and tried it again.
At a different bank.
That's silly.
Robbed a different bank instead.
You would think that he got maybe cold feet and thought, I'm done. I'm not doing this.
Oh, that's such a bad idea. Don't rob banks.
But then for him to come back and do another one after that, that's crazy.
Maybe it was a different guy. Just a coincidence. They did it on the same
coincidence
day.
On the same
Wearing
day.
the same outfit. All right. Strange law. We're going to end our program with this. In Kansas, it is illegal for chicken thieves to work during daylight hours. If you steal chickens, you must do it at night.
Are there many chicken thieves that work during daylight hours?
A lot of chicken thieves in Kansas. They all work nights, apparently. All right. This has been your Strange Law, and this has been your Scoop of the Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening on a Monday. I've got a special guest on the line with me here. I have KeithCode with DrugFreeWorld.org. And Keith is a motorcycle dude. You do a really cool motorcycle school. Keith, how long have you been doing that?
Thanks for having me on the show, by the way, John. Thank you. I've been involved with motorcycles for longer than you've probably been alive, but I had a professional racing career through the 1970s, and once I quit that, I wanted to stay in the game and train other riders for just street riders as well as people who were interested in racing. So I started the California Superbike School, and we're now in 19 countries on 5 continents, and I just got back from China, where we did our very first school last week. So we're moving into Asia now.
That's really cool, and you're on 6 different continents and doing this really cool California Superbike School all over the place. And something that is really a passion of yours is the connection you have with DrugFreeWorld.org. Now, how did that connection happen? How did that get started?
John, I was very interested in drug education immediately after I quit taking drugs. I had seen what had happened to all my friends in the 1960s, and it was pretty grim, and what happened to myself as well for a good solid decade, and it really etched a big chunk of my life away, and some people didn't make it at all. So once I got out of the drugs and back into motorcycles and motorcycle racing, I wanted to educate as many people as possible, because at that time I wanted to see my sport survive, and unfortunately back then in the early in the 70s there were some drugs around, not anymore, but there were then. So I'd been looking for educational material. I mean, I had to say my personal experience stuff, but that's sometimes that doesn't completely cover it. And when I hooked up with the Foundation for a Drug-Free World and found their Truth About Drugs educational material, the booklets, I went, oh, okay, great, this is the stuff right here, and got in touch with those guys and said, hey, you need a spokesman? I'm your man. So nice. That's kind of how I did it.
That's really cool. And again, visiting with KeithCode this morning, and he's with the California Superbike School and also with the organization that has the website drugfreeworld.org. Now, if somebody listening, maybe they have an issue that they're saying, you know what, I really do need help with this, or maybe it's not them, maybe it's a family member or a friend. You said that there's a booklet, the Truth About Drugs booklet. How do you get one of those? Is it pretty easy to do?
Yeah, the Foundation's mission is education, and all of our material is free. The Truth About Drugs booklets, and if your listeners go on the website or call our toll-free number, we will send them out, whichever booklets they want. We also have free DVDs. Everything is free. And where we found ourselves to be most effective was getting the booklets into people's hands and them talking to another person, especially parents, talking to their children, because years ago our surveys were very, very decisive on over half of American school children are going to try drugs before they get out of high school. And for any parent, with a teenager coming up the line, they're looking at a pretty much 50-50 chance that their kid's going to take some drugs, whether they know it or not. So the materials, what we're trying to do is educate people so that they can make an intelligent decision about whether they want to take the stuff or not. Whether it's legal or not doesn't make any difference. Yeah. We want them to be educated and know what it is that they're doing to themselves.
And the hardest thing as a parent is to know what to say when you're saying, okay, how do I have this conversation? Especially if maybe you have a checkered past and you did something, now you feel like a hypocrite. But the good news is you have people out there that do have tools to make that conversation, I'm not going to say easy, because it's probably still not going to be easy, but it can make it a whole lot easier if you have the info. And the book, Truth About Drugs, is available free. And you said there's DVDs as well?
Yes, there are. On the website, there's an enormous amount of information, including lots of videos of personal experience that people have had, and the lies that are out there about drugs and what drugs do. And obviously, people who want to sell drugs are going to tell those lies. And we have the pharmaceutical industry too, which is right now our big epidemic. That's our problem, because pharmaceutical drugs are very available and they're very powerful, and unfortunately, they are the leading cause of drug fatalities from drug overdose these days. Not street drugs anymore. It's prescription drugs.
Thank you for doing what you do. Again, we've been visiting with KeithCode, and the website again is drugfreeworld.org. We're going to send them there, Keith. Thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me on the show.
Definitely. Again, go to the website drugfreeworld.org, get some information, and thank you so much for joining us on a Monday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by carsforsale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at carsforsale.com.
Today's a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Monday, the 20th day of July. We're cruising through this month.
Sweet.
Today is No Pet Store Puppies Day, so you're not supposed to buy a pet from a pet store today. No puppies.
You know what, though? I haven't been into a pet store for a very long time that even has puppies.
I haven't either. It's Global Hug Your Kid Day. It's Moon Day. Pull your pants up. It's also Space Exploration Day, National Lollipop Day, World Jump Day, International Cake Day. Ooh, I can handle that. National Get Out of the Doghouse Day, and Legal Drinking Age Day. So there's a lot of stuff going on today.
A lot of stuff.
I'm going to celebrate by eating some cake out of the doghouse.
All right.
We don't have a doghouse, but I'm going to eat some cake because it's International Cake Day. That's the only one that matters on that whole list. All that other stuff is just wah, 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 wah. You looking for me? I'll be hanging out over here enjoying cake because today is International Cake Day. It is Monday, the 20th day of July.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
I don't know how many times I've said this is my favorite story ever, but I have got to say this is one of my favorite stories ever. Quite often I find stories. It's my favorite story of the day. We'll put it this way. An English town built a bowling alley and then realized nobody in that town knows how to bowl.
So teach them to bowl. It's not hard to bowl.
They apparently didn't do any research. Devon, England. They were looking for a sporting event that could be enjoyed by people of all ages. They did a little survey, and the top answer was lawn bowling. They spent the next 2 years getting a $103,000 grant from the government there in England to build a state-of-the-art bowling green and pavilion. 37 people even formed a lawn bowling club. It was then and only then that they realized nobody in the whole town knew how to play this game. The bowling club is now taking an intensive crash course in how to bowl. So
even the people that built the place didn't know how to bowl. Oh, no. My goodness.
They Googled it. They're like, this would be cool. Let's build one of these things.
What is lawn bowling? We should look that up. I've never heard of that.
Let's Google it and build one. Maybe we could convince the city. Hey, give us some money. We want to build a lawn bowling alley. What do they call it? A lawn bowling pavilion is what they called it.
Huh.
So I was thinking a bowling alley. Like
you would think if you're going to build something and start...
Yeah,
you would think if you're going to build something and start your own business, you would first want to know exactly what it is that the business will be doing.
This is the thing. This wasn't somebody starting their own business. This was a committee looking for something to do, and they got a grant from the government, and they spent someone else's money to only find out that nobody even on this committee has a clue what we're doing.
Wow.
They got it done. They're like, all right, let's go play. They're like, do you know how to play? I don't know how to play. I thought you knew how to play. I don't know how to play. Who's going to play? None of us. Maybe somebody else knows.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that is so funny. That is just hilarious. That's in Devon, England. Thank you, Devon, England, for giving me something to smile about. It is a special day when I can smile at Devon, England. It is a Monday. We appreciate you joining us on The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Last week on the program, we talked about IQs. A friend of mine had put a thing online, a little test you could take, and we took the test. And Heidi has an above-average IQ, and she's good-looking and has a good IQ, which is kind of nice. I mean, hubba, she's all mine. And I took the little test, and it says I'm a, what did it say again? Super genius?
Good Lord.
No, I didn't really say that. It said that I was above average IQ, which means the test was clearly wrong. But if you want to improve your IQ, you know what you're supposed to do?
What's that?
Listen to this story, and this is going to help. Oranges make you smarter. It's the color, not the fruit. Staring at the color orange can make you smarter. You could stare at an orange that's orange. That would help, too. Study shows that college-age students who stare at something that is orange for 15 minutes a day averaged a 22% increase in their IQ score. Staring at the color blue causes it to drop by 9%.
Oh, really?
That's funny. Orange and blue are contrasting colors.
I love orange. I do
too.
A lot of orange in our house.
I had a shirt that was orange one time, and I loved it.
Yeah, you wore it all the time.
Whatever happened to that?
There was holes in it. We had to get rid of it.
I was like, you're wearing that? I'm like, yeah, I put my arm through the wrong hole, actually, but I figured it out. All right, so find something orange and stare at, and you'll be smarter as well. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
In Warwick, Rhode Island, a police officer says a 17-year-old boy skipped school to rob a bank, and he was arrested after leaving fingerprints on a threatening note that he passed to the teller. Apparently, the boy was not a very good student. The note was riddled with misspellings. He should have maybe not skipped school. He should have gone there. The note demanded money and threatened that everyone will be shot. The teller at Coastway Community Bank gave the boy some money, but he didn't have much time to spend it. Thanks to video surveillance and photos and fingerprints, he was arrested 6 hours later and faces first-degree robbery charges.
Nice.
So when they handed him the note, the teller should have used a red pen and corrected everything and handed it back. Yeah. So it's pretty bad when you skip out on school and you can't even write a good robbery note. So.
Jeez.
My mom wrote this for me earlier today. So here you go. All right. Thank you so much. Coming up, we're going to talk about falling asleep while you're driving. Have you ever done that? We're going to chat about that on the way. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Here's a fun story to cause some marital problems for you. Have you ever fallen asleep while you're driving or been drowsy while you're driving?
You do all the time.
I don't fall asleep. I'll get drowsy.
Oh my gosh.
But I quit.
You are such a liar.
No, I have fallen asleep while driving before. It's been a long time. But now while I'm driving, I've got this new thing. It's called my wife. That's you. That you start yelling at me while I'm driving. You're like, hey, pull over. I'm going to drive. I'm like, I'm fine. You're yelling at me. I'm wide awake now. So anyway, it's a scary thing. But IBM has come up with a fun way to keep that from ever happening again. You want to hear this?
Really? Yes, I do.
Turns out they might have a sense of humor. At the same time, they're trying to save lives. IBM says its artificial passenger dashboard device might be on the market sooner than expected, thus making it safer on the highway for drivers that might fall asleep. How does it work? Well, among other things, it shoots a stream of cold water into your face. According to an issue of New Scientist, when the device detects drowsiness, it launches into jokes and other conversations and automatically rolls down windows, sounds an alarm, and changes radio stations and does much more. So
guess what you're getting?
While you're driving down the road, this little thing will start doing all of this stuff, and you'll be like, fine, I'm awake. Leave me alone.
That is fantastic. I love it.
So this is a device that they're working on at IBM. Why don't they work on real problems?
That is a real problem.
It is probably a real problem.
It's a very real problem. I watch you, and
Everybody
it scares
else,
the hell out of everybody in the car.
All you need to do is get married like I did and have your wife do this. You do this for me. I don't need any of this stuff.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I don't need these things.
You do need those things because
No.
I'm not always with you.
When you're not with me, I'll just pull over and take a nap.
Oh, right. But you won't pull over and let me drive. That doesn't even make any sense.
I can't do that. I can't give up control. That's like the remote. When we're watching
does not
TV,
make any sense.
When we're watching TV, where does the remote go? I have it. If we're watching TV and you take the remote, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Why do you have the remote? I want the remote. I might be a control freak.
Yeah, maybe
Not really
just
sure.
a bit.
Hey, I want to stay on track here. We're going to take a little break. Coming up, we're going to talk about homeless kids getting a really good education. This is a cool story on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
Such a cool story here, Heidi. Listen to this. For many homeless children nationwide, receiving a good education is just not an option. Getting to school each morning fails to become a priority when you're worrying about where you're going to sleep the night before. Caring for loved ones is also important. Finding food to eat, that's important. However, a school in San Diego, they noticed there was a problem. So they came up with a solution. You want to hear it?
Sure.
I just wanted to make sure you're still awake. They're trying to make life easier for homeless and transient students and help them get an education and improve their lives. The Monarch School lets students arrive early every day. Homeless students can take showers and wash their clothes. And
that's awesome.
They can even take naps. They can eat there. They can get counseling, all on the school's campus. About 400 homeless and transient children attend the Monarch School each year, and it seems to be working. The school's attendance, the rate has an average of about 93%. So most of the kids are there most of the time. School's performance is improving. Grades, too. They're going from D averages to B averages.
That's awesome.
That is very, very cool. So this is in San Diego. It's called the Monarch School. I just thought that was neat. I always try to end things on a positive note.
Yeah, that's a wonderful story.
That's
I love
a very
that.
cool story. So there you go. That is happening out there. And, you know, there was what was the movie with Will Smith and his son?
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. When I watched that movie, because I'd never really thought about that before, but he was working poor. He had a job, but he was homeless. And it was a true story. Chris Garner was the guy's name. It was based on a true story. Now, I saw an interview where he said it wasn't exactly the way it was in the movie, but everything that was in the movie was based on something that really happened, but it wasn't necessarily chronologically like that. But still, at the end of the day, I had never really thought about being in that situation. And thank the good Lord, I've never been in that situation. So, but for people who are, what a cool opportunity right there in San Diego. Again, it's called the Monarch School, so the kids will at least be able to go to school and be able to, take a shower and all that fun stuff. All right, time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow on the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break, only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And your bonus break is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Take a listen to this, Heidi. It's a matter of time before the bugs bite you, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
This time of year. So, you want to find a way to get rid of the itch?
Okay.
If you get bit by bugs, you can use Tamanu oil. What is Tamanu? I
don't even know what that is.
I've heard of Xanadu, but never Tamanu. I don't think they're the same thing. It's an oil from a nut of a tropical tree that relieves pain and itching from bites very fast. It possesses a microbial property and heals skin quickly. Tamanu is a powerful anti-inflammatory, reducing redness and swelling. Tamanu kills bacteria, viruses, and funguses and causes the formation of new, healthy skin tissue. It's called Tamanu oil. You ever heard of that stuff?
I've never heard of Tamanu.
How about Manuka oil?
Never heard of it.
This oil is from a bush that grows in the wild in New Zealand. It's an increasingly popular first aid remedy. Manuka stops the pain of bites and stings and helps to kill any infections. It's also great for eradicating pimples, and it tastes great with barbecue. Just kidding. I
was going to say, what?
I'm just teasing about the taste great part. Next one is vinegar. That's one you've heard of, right?
I have heard of vinegar.
If you get a bug bite, you're supposed to throw some vinegar on it. It says it'll relieve the pain of a bite or a sting, and it'll tighten your skin. Plain white vinegar is perfect. Apple cider vinegar also does the trick, but plain white vinegar is the best. And finally, let's pretend like maybe you're not near your kitchen or you're not near a place that has Tamanu oil or Manuka oil. What if you're just out in the wilderness and you get bit by a bug? Where do you usually get bit by bugs?
In the woods.
Yeah, when you're outside. So...
Poison ivy.
No, you don't use poison ivy, but you do use mud.
Oh.
If you get a bug bite, mix some soil with a little bit of water, and that turns into mud. Did you know that's the ingredients in mud?
I did, yeah.
Dirt plus water is mud. Apply it directly to the bite and stings. Perhaps the oldest skin healing remedy known. Mud soothes, I can't talk today, soothes the pain of bites and stings and reduces swelling. You might want to talk to a pharmacist or a doctor or somebody first, because I don't have a degree in any of that stuff, and I just gave you advice to rub mud all over an open wound.
You would never know you don't have a degree, though, because you pronounced all of those words so flawlessly.
Hey, you know what? I do what I can to make this program the very best. This is a
professional, high-quality program
it can possibly be. I mean, it is. Best that this budget can buy. So there you go. Have some mud. You got a wound? Smear some mud on it. You heard it here on the John and Heidi Show. I don't know that that's really the best advice, but that's what they put in this thing here. So, all right. I think that's going to do it for our Dollar Shave Club bonus break. I almost feel as though I owe the Dollar Shave Club for that one. I did go on and change my order because we had 2 different orders. One of them was sending us the Humble Twin.
Right.
And I upgraded that one now to the middle one. I don't even know what it's called, but it's the middle one that instead of $3, it's $6. That's shipping and everything all included. Or you can do the other one. I have the Executive Series for $9, but I'm trying the middle of the road one. I'm going to see how those are. Because we tried the Humble Twin. They're not bad. But everybody likes my Executives better.
They're not great. Yeah, everybody keeps using your Executive razor.
But think about this. If I had just a regular car parked in the garage and right next to it was a Ferrari and you had your choice on which one you're going to take for a spin, which one are you going to take?
This is true.
Exactly. That's why the Executive. But that's where I was going. I'm going to upgrade to the middle of the road and see how that one goes.
There you go.
So I should be getting those in, like 2 weeks or a week? Maybe it's next Wednesday. I don't know when it is. Coming soon. Said I'd be getting them. So when I get them, I'll shave half of my face with one razor.
There you go.
And the other half with the other razor.
That sounds like a fun experiment.
And then no, I probably won't do that. Thank you so much for joining us again. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio.